This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
Well, he sold millions of albums around the world. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his band in 1998. He's a multiple Grammy and Latin Grammy winner. And he now has his own coffee company called Carlos Santana Coffee Company, the coolest coffee company on the planet. I would expect nothing less. Carlos, I would imagine that considering your travels, around the world for the last 50 years or so, getting up early, catching planes, trains, and automobiles, interviews, meetings, recording sessions, that coffee is pretty important to you, but it actually started with you as a kid growing up in Mexico. Do I have that right?
You're absolutely correct. When we were in Altlan, before we came to Tijuana, I remember waking up and, smell the coffee, smell the future, drinking frijoles and tortillas and coffee. So coffee's always been, as long as I can remember, something that stimulates me to face the day.
And all the info on that is at carlossantanacoffeeco.com. Now, when you buy the coffee, you automatically are helping to make a difference in children's lives. Tell us about what the Milagro Foundation does. Milagro was actually, I think it was one of the name of your albums too, 1992 or something?
Yes, it's a word that we really cherish. We use it a lot. Milagro means miracles, creating something divine into the physical, making the metaphysical physical. And so, yes, because of the Milagro Foundation that we founded. See, I learned a long time ago from Bill Graham and Dolores Huerta and Mother Teresa, B.B. King and Tito Puente on one hand, music, and also being of service like Martin Luther King or Mahatma Gandhi. Being a hippie in the 60s, it just became one, creating music and being of service. I remember the Beatles and Marvin Gaye and Bob Dylan. Everybody was involved with this word, consciousness. And consciousness means the highest good of people, where you can see unity and harmony. You can see the light in people instead of their darkness. So all this time, I have learned how to integrate it together, being of service to humanity and playing music. I'm a healer in many forms, not just with sound resonant vibration. We can actually be effective being of service to Indian reservations or Africa or South America or India with the Milagro Foundation.
And it really focuses on children, right?
Yes. They're the future.
They certainly are. And this is the future too. As I hold this up, I don't know if you can see this, Carlos. I have a bag of the Oye Como Va blend. And I also have this. You can see that. This is the Carlos Santana coffee mug. You have all different kinds of blends here with some more names that Santana fans obviously will find very familiar. I'll start. There is another one, another blend called Smooth. Obviously, you had to have a blend called Smooth, but tell us about some of the other more familiar blend name titles.
The Essential Blend, Global Consciousness Blend, Evil Ways, Power of Peace, the Oye Como Va blend. As I said before, to me, it's the flavor and the consciousness go together. Like there's a place here in Fairfax, California, a small place, they sell vanilla honey lavender ice cream. Okay. And he will not expand for nothing. And he's just going to stay there. That's all he wants to do. But when you taste this ice cream, you're tasting something that immediately your consciousness goes, ooh, because the last thing in the lavender is the last thing that, like a note that resonates, that lingers on. We're trying to constantly create coffee that it has not only like the first kiss in the morning, but it has a lasting good flavor on you that it lasts like a melody.
The Evil Ways blend. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm assuming that might be a stronger cup of coffee.
Oh yeah, that's the darkest coffee. Darkest.
You also have a cannabis line you recently started called Mirayo. Your appreciation of this other natural product also started in Mexico at a young age through your mother, Josefina, right?
Yes. Since time immemorial, women and men, but especially women, because they were the healers at that time for the kids. My mom used to grab like just a chunk of marijuana and put it on a base, on a glass a jar with alcohol, dip it in there for a while, and then she would pull it out and she would rub it wherever there was like arthritis or anything in your muscles or your bones. And it always worked. So this was done since the beginning. So I introduced this. Now everybody uses it in their companies because we know that the healing powers of marijuana, whether it's like, because when you toke it, it does something to your consciousness, obviously. But when you rub it in with alcohol and some other ingredients, it literally does affect your molecular structure to bring healing. Instead of being like tight like this, it's like, oh, So it's wonderful that we're waking up into a place where we're actually accepting the healing powers of Mother Nature. Because for a long time, there's been like medicine, and then there's been drugs. Drugs humans make in a laboratory. Medicine is made on the earth by the sun, the air, the water, the soil. That's a different consciousness, medicine and drugs. Drugs can be addicting. Medicine is healing. That is the word natural. And I think that we shouldn't be afraid of anything that's natural and good for you.
That's the Marayo by Santana.com is the website for the cannabis line. I recently read that you started working on a new album.
Yes, we're 90% with completion. It's called Blessings and Miracles. I believe that those two components, you're born with it, I'm born with it. You were imbued and endowed with heavenly powers to create miracles and blessings. It's a blessing for me to this day utilize my intuition to have future pull. Like I swear to you, like last year around this time, I said to Gail King, we were communicating, and I said, Gail, I see what's happening. Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of the United States. She goes, oh, no, that'll never happen. She's this, she's that, that'll never happen. Here we are. She's this close to being the president of the United States. But how do I see that? Well, I got that from my mom, and I'm grateful that you opened the door for me to talk about intuition, premonition, and the combination of a heavenly angel voice, inner voice, higher voice connected with your gut. And when they both connect, they tell you gently, but with specificity, don't go there or don't do that or stop. And that prevents you from hurting yourself, So it's important that everything that I'm around, whether it's music or all these conglomerations of VS to be of service to people, I'm very grateful that we're living in a time where we beginning to see that hocus pocus and all that kind of stuff is not that. It's actually mumbo jumbo was a real king. There was a real healer. Just like General Patton or whatever, was a real person. Mumbo jumbo was a real healer king. And I'm so grateful. I can't stop telling you how grateful I am to be living in a time where the doors are opening for perception, like the doors, and we're able to actually perceive evidence of things not seen that can be tangible to us, to you and me.
Carlos Santana is with us. And Carlos, your website says that you actually have tour dates this summer that include Jones Beach and the PNC here in the tri-state area. Now, are these locked in, or are they sort of, let's wait and see how everything goes?
Both of the above. We'll see how the forces open up for us to have the green light. We would only play if we don't put our fans in danger. We want the highest good for everyone. But we are ready to play. I mean, we haven't played since last year around this time, so everything's very juicy. Every note is really juicy. There's no dry notes in here.
I can imagine. You guys just must be going stir crazy because for a guy like you and your band members and everybody associated with that, supports you as a touring musician, I mean, you just got to be dying to get out there and just, hit a power chord in front of a few thousand people,
Yes. But we have learned being in incubation or in a state of crystallizing our purposes personally and as a band, we have learned just how much we have inside that we have yet to utilize to make this world a better place. I'm still with John Lennon. I'm still with Bob Marley. I'm still with John Coltrane. We believe that we can do something that politicians and church people cannot do, but they have yet to do, which is really, really bring all the walls down again and coexist with grace, elegance, and dignity by sound.
Carlos Santana is with us. Carlos, I got a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
The one guitar player that when you saw that guitar player play, you said to yourself, that's what I want to do.
Es Javier Batis. It's a gentleman in Tijuana. And when I first heard that sound, he was very locked in with B.B. King. So he had that B.B. King sound, Freddie King, Albert King, Peter Green, Michael Bloomfield. We all came from B.B. So when I first heard this sound, I just knew, for me, it was like seeing the first fly UFO or seeing a white whale. I knew right there and then that this is all I was going to be and nothing was going to stop me.
And what was the first song you ever learned on the guitar? Do you remember? Yeah,
it was a song called Apache. And they used to call me Apache in Tijuana for a long time because everywhere I went, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. See, I always been, because of my dad, I always been focused, one track, laser-like concentration into melody. Melody for me is first, middle, and last. Melody.
Carlos Santana is with us. CarlosSantanaCoffeeCo.com. Wake up and smell the future. That's the tagline. I can tell you, Carlos, this is delicious coffee. It definitely clears the cobwebs in the morning. In fact, I do iced coffee with it too. You can get the coffee mug, but also the cannabis, Marayo by Santana.com. That's the cannabis line. And of course, all the info at Santana.com. Carlos, thank you so much for joining us. And I can't wait to see you melt our faces on a stage, man. I really can't wait for that.
We got a tambourine or a cowbell waiting for you, so you can come on stage and join us.
Carlos, thank you so much.
Take care.
This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.